It's Friday. The number lands in your account. You glance at it the way you always do. Quick at first. Then something makes you look again. Slower this time. There's a gap. You remember what it was supposed to be. You saw it earlier. Clean. Whole. Untouched. Now it's smaller. Not by accident, not by error. Nothing broke. Nothing needs fixing. It's just less. Like something happened before you got there. You scroll down, line after line. Words you've seen too many times to question. Numbers that don't surprise you anymore. They always settle the same way. You didn't lose it. It was never yours. You sit there a second longer than usual. Not looking at what came in, but what didn't. And somehow, that feels normal. That's the part that stays with you. You have a stable income. It shows up when it's supposed to. Same pattern, same timing, no surprises. You don't really think about it anymore. You work, you get paid, it loops. Clean, predictable. You've gotten good at operating inside it. You check your balance. Keep things in range. Nothing too aggressive, nothing careless. Just enough control to feel responsible. At the end of the year, you sit down and file. Same routine. You follow the prompts. Answer what applies, skip what doesn't. There's not much to decide anyway. The path is already there. Standard deduction, same as last year. Same as everyone you know. The number shifts a little, then stops. A refund shows up. You notice it, not in a big way, just enough to feel like something worked. Like you did something right. You accept it. You don't trace it back. You don't question how it formed. It feels like the system gave something back to you. And that's enough. Everyone around you does the same thing. Same forms, same timing, same quiet satisfaction. No one really asks why it always looks like this. Why the numbers behave the way they do. Why nothing ever changes. You don't ask either. Because it all feels correct. You believe this is how it's supposed to work. You believe it's fair. You believe if you want more, you just need to earn more, move faster, climb higher. Inside that belief, everything makes sense. Until it doesn't. You hear a number that doesn't line up. Someone making close to what you make, but keeping more. Not a little more. Enough to notice. Enough to sit with. It doesn't look random. It doesn't look like luck. It looks intentional. You don't understand it yet. But something shifts. Because now you've seen it. And once you see it, you can't go back to not noticing. You keep thinking about the difference. Not what you received. What never showed up. At first you try to dismiss it. Maybe it's a detail, a small variance, something too minor to matter. But it stays. Because the more you look around, the more it repeats. Same effort, same hours. Different outcomes. Nothing about what they do seems different. But the result is. And that difference doesn't come from working harder. It comes from something you haven't been shown. Something that was always there. Just not visible. This is not a tax system. This is a sorting system. It doesn't care how hard you work. It reacts to how money moves before it reaches you. When your income comes through a paycheck, the process is already complete before you see it. Decisions were made, amounts were calculated, pieces were removed. You don't shape it. You receive what's left. But when money enters through a structure, it behaves differently. It slows down. It waits. It doesn't become income immediately. It can be redirected, adjusted, reduced, delayed. The same dollar, different path, different outcome. Nothing about the number changes. But everything about how it's treated does. You're not being treated unfairly. You're being processed differently. The system doesn't punish you. It sorts you. And once that clicks, something changes. You stop asking how to earn more. You start asking where your money goes before it becomes yours. Because that path determines everything. And that path isn't random. It's layered. At the first layer, everything feels simple. You earn, you receive, you repeat. There's nothing complicated about it. It feels clean. Safe even. Your income shows up already adjusted, already finalized. There's nothing left to decide. You don't negotiate. You don't intervene. You accept it. This is where most people stay. Not because they chose it consciously, because nothing ever forces them out of it. It works. That's the advantage. But there's a cost. You don't control anything before the number reaches you. You only manage what's left. Then something shifts. You earn money outside that system. It doesn't go through the same process. Nothing gets taken out automatically. Nothing gets calculated for you. It arrives full, untouched. It feels different immediately. There's a kind of freedom in it. You treat it like the rest. Spend it. Move on. Until time catches up, and the number shows up all at once. No buffer, no reduction, no system softening it for you. Just a bill. You look at it longer than you expected to. Because this time, it's all on you. That's where the shift really begins. You don't stop earning. You start paying attention. You open a spreadsheet. You track what comes in, what goes out. Receipts start to matter. Small details stop being small. The panic doesn't disappear. It changes shape. It becomes focus. And slowly, that focus becomes control. Then you take another step. You give your money somewhere to exist before it becomes yours. A separate place. A name. A structure. Something that isn't you. Now the flow changes again. Expenses aren't just spending anymore. They start to shape what remains. You notice patterns. What reduces the number? What disappears before it reaches you? What stays? Nothing about your work changes, but the outcome does. Because now, money doesn't go straight to you. It passes through something first. And that something starts to matter more than the amount itself. The same income doesn't stay whole anymore. It splits. Part of it becomes salary. Part of it becomes something else. Each part follows a different rule. Each rule changes the result. You're not making more. You're changing how it's seen. And that alone is enough. The numbers start to feel strange. Income exists, but not where you expect it. Profit exists, but not on paper. You are profitable in reality, you are bankrupt on paper. Both are true. And the system accepts both without conflict. Then your sense of time changes. You stop thinking in months. Even years start to feel short. You think in sequences. Moves that extend forward. Assets aren't just owned anymore. They're positioned. They grow without being reduced. They move without being exposed. You start making decisions that don't come back to you. At least not directly. You are making decisions for people you will never meet. That thought sits differently. The outcome isn't immediate, but it lasts longer than anything you were optimizing for before. And eventually, the structure becomes the system. Nothing flows directly to you anymore. Everything moves through layers that were built long before the result appears. You're not calculating every step. You're reviewing them. You're not reacting. You're approving. The work is still there. The money still moves, but it doesn't move through you. It moves around you. At that point, income stops being the focus. Flow replaces it. And the system carries everything forward without needing you to touch it. You don't move up by earning more. That's what you thought, Hanger, at the beginning. You move by changing where money exists before it becomes yours. Every layer adds control. Every layer adds distance. Every layer trades simplicity for structure. And once you see those layers, you can't unsee them. Because they were always there. You were just placed inside one of them. And now you're starting to notice the rest. At some point, you start to notice something else. Not the numbers, the pattern behind them. Every step you took looked like progress. More control, more flexibility, more ways to move. But something else was happening at the same time. Exposure was dropping. Less of your money was visible by default. Less of it was forced into a fixed outcome. You were deciding when it showed up, when it became real, when it became taxable. And that control didn't come for free. It came with layers, with obligations, with decisions that didn't exist before. Each layer gave you more reach and took away simplicity. You didn't just gain advantage, you took on responsibility. The pressure didn't disappear. It moved. You start to see it clearly. Every level follows the same shape. You don't move forward by adding more. You move by redirecting what's already there. Most people never see this. They stay focused on the surface. They chase higher income. They measure everything by what hits their account. They think the goal is to increase the number. But the system doesn't respond to that. It responds to structure, to timing, to classification. Two people can create the same result. Same effort, same output. One of them is fully exposed. The other barely is. The difference isn't skill. It isn't discipline. It isn't luck. It's architecture. You never made more money. You just stopped letting it touch you. That's where everything shifts. It's not growth. It's repositioning. Not accumulation. Separation. And once you see it like that, the idea of working harder starts to feel misplaced. You were never short on effort. You were just applying it inside the wrong layer. You worked more. The system didn't fight you. It adjusted around you, quietly. Effort increases your exposure to tax, not your escape from it. The more visible your income becomes, the easier it is to process. The system doesn't need to change. You do. Saving feels controlled. It feels disciplined. Like you're doing the right hard thing. But saving happens after everything has already been decided. After the system has taken its position. You're holding on to what remains. Not influencing what happens before. There's no advantage in that. Only limitation. Better title, higher pay, more recognition. Each step forward expands your reach and your visibility. The system sees more of you, and it responds. You move up and get processed more efficiently. Nothing you believed was wrong. It was just incomplete. You followed the path exactly as it was presented to you. You just never questioned the layer it kept you in. Then something shifts. Not all at once. Quietly. Almost unnoticed. You stop thinking of yourself as someone who earns. You stop waiting for money to arrive. You stop reacting to what shows up. You stop being an earner. You become a structure. Something that directs flow, not receives it. That's where the difference begins. Not in what you do, in what you are inside the system. There's no comfort in that realization. No quick fix. No simple adjustment. Just clarity. And clarity removes the illusion that effort alone can change the outcome. At the highest layers, nothing feels dramatic. There's no moment where everything clicks. No visible jump. No clear signal that you've arrived somewhere different. The system just runs. Quietly. Consistently. Two systems exist at the same time. One still receives income. The other redirects it. You didn't leave the first. You built the second. And now you operate through it. The numbers still move, but they don't behave the same way. You don't watch what arrives anymore. You watch what passes through. At the beginning, you compared gross and net. You focused on what was taken. You felt the gap. Now, that distinction disappears. There is no net anymore. Nothing reaches you without passing through something first. Nothing is exposed by default. Everything is placed. Everything is intentional. Not perfect, but controlled. Control was never about making more. It was about deciding what becomes visible. And when. If you're still inside the first layer, keep watching. Subscribe. The system doesn't explain itself twice.